So I don't know about you guys, but I'm extremely excited to see how the war in North America is going to go between the final practically two natives, at least in North America, between the Shoshone and the Iroquois. I mean, as we talked about in the final moments of that last episode, the Shoshone army is kind of all split up. They just got done finishing up their Central American allies, they were allied, I think, at one point. Now they aren't anymore, obviously. So yeah, I mean, they had a lot of their troops down south here, and that is not the case anymore. It seems like they're going to probably focus more on the northeast of North America, and I'm extremely excited because we've got Pathfinders versus Mohawk warriors, and I know that these are kind of out-of-date units, actually. It's so strange to see the Shoshone still have these Pathfinders when they have musketmen right here, only a few cities to the west. I don't understand. Now, before I go to the next turn, and obviously they do, super out-tech the Iroquois, so the Iroquois are going to have a tough time, but if they only send Pathfinders, their way, then I think that they're going to be okay. So it's been a while since we've double-checked on religion. Religion, again, is very, very important in this game. So far, in terms of number of cities right now, Kyoto is winning. Shinto from the Japanese Empire and that's something that we're somewhat used to. But surprisingly enough, the Aztec religion has stayed up there. I mean, we knew that that was going to be a pretty powerful religion only because there was no other religion in this area. So pretty much the Aztecs can spread. Actually, I mean, they don't even need to spread it. They don't even need to really purchase any missionaries or any inquisitors, because it's going to spread no matter what. Now it just needs to get to South America, and it already has. So more than likely, I would assume that the Aztec religion will eventually pass up Shinto of the Japanese Empire. Only because, I mean, it might not, because, there are a lot of other religions over this way. I mean, Japan's going to need to work extremely hard to keep it up there and keep it in the number 1 spot. So yeah, that'll be interesting. We have the Spanish Empire with Catholicism dominating, of course, most of Europe. Judaism's been pretty much locked down to the only 2 Celtic cities, I think, that remain in Iceland and Ireland. Persia's doing okay in the Middle East, and then Ethiopia and Songhai are both battling it out for the African cities. So yeah, let's go to the next turn. As I talked about, I am extremely excited to see these 2 natives, because really, if the Iroquois fall, then, well, I mean, there's going to be an entire continent to one civ for the first time. We're going to see a dominant civ completely control a continent. I don't know if that's going to be like that for a really long time. Ooh, Mongolia declaring war on the Americans that were banished to Alaska. The final Americans remain Atlanta and Seattle. I guess I'd be in Seattle currently right now. I'd probably flee. Yeah, it seems like the closest choice. And I might be dead, though. Luckily for Washington, I don't know why Mongolia declared that, because he has no boats. So they should be just fine. I think they'll be fine. Korea, China declared war on Korea. This could be the end of Korea inside of East Asia. They still have their colony in the southernmost part of Australia, but yeah, definitely you can assume that this city's going to get kicked out of East Asia. Okay, any other wars that happen? So we have a peace deal between Denmark and the Iroquois. We also have Rome and Denmark making a peace deal as well. Anything else happening? No. That war is pretty big for China. That's a big opportunity for China to gain a little bit more land. Yeah, that'd be huge, and they've got a lot of their unique units. Yeah, and those things are tough. That's tough to kind of attack those guys, because they're going to attack twice, and they have multiple of them. So that you have 4, looks like they have 4 of their unique units. You're looking at 8 different attacks. Right now, really, China could take over anyone if she puts her mind to it. Oh, now the Zulu are declaring war on Washington. Man, I feel terrible. Now, there were some people that were suggesting that the Celts in Japan have made peace, that maybe I should have put the colonial nations, specifically America, on a higher difficulty. I gotta say, I was really against this idea. First of all, that seems incredibly biased on my part, and I really didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be because what is my excuse? I don't really have an excuse for that. There's no way I would ever put them on Deity. It's hard to say, because it's they didn't technically have any disadvantages. It was just that, they decided to expand without having units. That's just a broken AI. America was doing just fine for a very, very long time, even being on the same technology as the other natives. So it's tough. It was just, I mean, still to this day, you would think he'd learn his lesson by 1720 AD. Washington still has only one unit. Now, obviously he got a few units destroyed by the Shoshone and Aztec War, kicking him off and banishing him to Alaska. But still, I mean, that was all the AI's fault. I just really don't feel comfortable giving America more bonuses. Like that doesn't seem fair at all, and that just seems too biased for my liking. I thought about it, but I was just like, no way. That just seems absolutely not right. That doesn't mean I was rooting for America somewhat, but at the same time, I was rooting for the natives as well. Obviously, I did pick the Shoshone, but yeah, I don't think that would be fair. I don't think that, America deserved a better advantage. If you wanted to be historical, I'd understand that. But he was doing fine. It was just he decided to, flood a bunch of cities in North America without building an actual army to defend them. And that just sometimes happens with the AI. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I mean, Brazil's doing fine. I understand that Brazil's in a different situation. Man, William is building so many wonders. It is insane. It is insane. Brazil's in a different situation because obviously he doesn't have to deal with immediate foes bordering him. I mean, he might have in a different universe. The Incas would have probably settled a little bit closer to Rio de Janeiro, but that didn't happen. He got very lucky. Now he's playing the game pretty quietly, which is extremely smart on his part. Korea and Mongolia finally made peace. And how's China doing on their efforts of taking over Korea? Yeah, there's no way that's going to last. There's no way. I don't think so. Carthage and Persia have made peace. And how are the Netherlands doing? Again, we need to see some Europeans rise up and kick the Huns out of Europe. Well, I mean, you can't really kick them out of Eastern Europe. That's something that you're probably not going to be able to do. But if someone... I mean, look at this. France already has their musketmen. I mean, people have kind of like disregarded France, but you know what? They got 2 units here, and they've stayed alive. I mean, that might be because Spain and William of the Netherlands have allowed them to stay alive, but still, they are still very much alive. Oh, and oh, come on. Napoleon, don't trade with them. Don't do that, bro. Well, I mean, he still has these musketeers, and they're pretty powerful units. If he had... The problem... The Huns are lucky. The Huns are very lucky that they took this city, because for an AI, it's going to be a lot easier to take it coastally rather than with units, because you only have 2 tiles to attack, melee at least. Maybe when artillery comes into play, then Barcelona will be up for grabs, but for right now, it's going to be extremely tough unless an AI builds a massive army and just starts throwing them at like just water on a wall or something like that. That's a terrible metaphor, but still. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to, of course, vote. I don't think so. And what did my spy find out? I did get a new spy, and what did we do? We discovered that, yes, Attila is, of course, plotting against the entire world. I did get a new spy, and I sent him over towards the Netherlands. The Netherlands, because, I mean, come on, they're number 1 in score. Who else am I going to send them towards? I'll probably change that around just because they are playing very quietly. Technically, they are number 1 in terms of score, and that is good, but for the most part, they're playing, like, military-wise, extremely quietly. I would like to actually send it over towards Rome. Rome seems like the European power that controls the most amount of impact if they were to declare war on somebody. As well as the Huns, I guess. As well as the Huns. What was that? By Mongolia. A French city was captured. Was that a French? Something Napoleon, Mongolia. Yes. Something around here by Mongolia. I don't know where it's at, though. Am I smoking crack? I just totally missed that. Well, Mongolia got something. Oh, there it is. Yes. Okay, right there in the middle of Asia. Wow, did they really send out like forces like that just randomly out there in the middle of Asia just to take over this small French city? And look at this. Look at this Hun army. The Huns look like they want to extremely, like, really push for their expansion out towards Asia. It looks like that might be the case, which saves the Europeans for a little bit. But, yeah, I guarantee you that war against Arabia is going to start up very soon. Oh, man. Okay, let's continue to do this. For some reason, they voted that in. So yes, like we talked about, Carthage and William have made peace. And what happened? So, yeah, the embargo against city-states was passed, but the ban against sugar was not passed. Okay, and then what did we discover? A Dutch army is, with a naval escort, has set sail for a sneak attack. We don't know what civ. Usually the second notification usually tells us. Secretly plotting against Carthage. I don't think that's what they were trying to do. And now you're constructing the Louvre. Now, where exactly... You don't have a navy, though. That's weird, that notification. I mean, the only thing I could think of is William maybe declaring war on Elizabeth. Maybe that's an opportunity. And exactly what type of great prophet is this? This must be a Catholic great prophet that they're sending over towards the British Isles, which is somewhat... Oh, and you know, I'm surprised that actually York has fallen to Judaism. I figured it would have been another Celtic city. Denmark seems to be doing pretty good for themselves. I really do find it interesting, the fact that Denmark managed to get modern-day Scotland. Let's see if that lasts for very long. England has kind of not really made too many units. They've been pretty quiet in terms of their unit production. Actually, the entire world has been somewhat quiet. Now, there is, of course, Germany and the Netherlands who have been building up a pretty big army. We also have Portugal, who has a navy that isn't to be messed with at all. Portugal's navy is pretty strong. And honestly, if she wanted, she could probably go over towards the Moroccan capital and take that over, completely locking Carthage off in between European states. Well, I guess there's the Huns, and I'm not sure exactly how the Huns feel towards Carthage. I imagine not super great. Let's see if the Korean city falls. Yes, it will. It'll probably fall this turn, I'm thinking, if it hasn't already fallen before, or if the Chinese city, or I guess the Chinese turn, if it hasn't already processed. And it looks like it will if they have, let's see, what is this? Plantation, grasslands, yep. That musketman's going to walk right on in there. I'm telling you, those unique units are strong. Honestly, if they wanted to, they could probably declare war on Siam and take at least 1 or 2 cities. Siam is not as much as of a pushover. I know that they have their unique units, their elephants, but still, I mean, they're not defending their empire very well over here. So that's interesting. How's Indonesia doing? They're staying quiet as well. Love that Byzantium has moved out to Sri Lanka. There it goes. Boom. And there goes Korea. Korea is now strictly an Australian civ. So I guess for all the Australian viewers out there, you can root for Korea. That's kind of how I do, though. That's kind of what I do. Depending on whoever gets to a certain region, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of New Zealand, Australia. I love the people that colonize these places first. I do tend to, somewhat internally root for them because they were able to colonize this, awesome land before anyone else. Honolulu seems to be doing pretty good for a city that only has access to 2 land tiles, which is amazing. At 17 population, you got to give it up to Polynesia. They're doing a great job. Okay, what did my spy figure out now? Don't tell me it's another Hun thing. It is. You're planning against Assyria. Dang, look at Byzantium. Wow. Now, I understand that, some of these units, a lot of these units actually, might be out of date. But you know what? They have got a massive army. If they are smart, they declare war on Greece. Greece has got nothing. Declare war on Greece. You can move on to Rome. And we could literally have a Roman Civil War sort of scenario where we have Western Rome versus Eastern Rome. Now, that would be extremely interesting. And that's plausible, honestly. I mean, why would Byzantium... Byzantium, I don't think, is going to declare war on the Huns. The Huns are too powerful. They could declare war on the Ottomans, which I don't really want. I would rather that scenario play out. They take out Greece, and then, boom, we've got West versus East here for the Roman Empire. And honestly, Byzantium looks powerful. They've got way more boats. And Antium and the capital of Rome is currently coastal. Coastal. Obviously, it's not going to change, and it hasn't changed. It hasn't just automatically got up and moved to the coast, but it's remained coastal, so I don't know why I phrased it like that. Anyways, Attila's planning against Siam. How is the, oh my gosh, the Forbidden Palace now by William. So does that mean he gets 2 delegates? I hope so. That way I don't have to even at all do the World Congress thing. I can't remember. So are the Zulus just not... Oh, no, the Zulu are still at war with the Songhai Empire, but He hasn't. I guess he's chosen to kind of regroup his troops, which actually is a smart choice because he's got a lot of MPs now, ready to attack. Mongolia and France and the Shoshone and France have made peace, and Carthage and Morocco have made peace. And we also have Byzantium and Carthage. Yeah, so everyone's kind of leaving that coalition. I don't know how ASCII is going to combat against this. The Zulu and the Iroquois have declared war on Morocco. How do the Iroquois even know who Morocco is? I'm guessing they must have somehow maneuvered their way over this way. I don't know how the Iroquois know. The Iroquois do not have those sorts of boats, right? The Shoshone are starting to move in towards Greenland. That would be now that would be a scenario. And what are these German trebuchets and this German pikeman doing? Yeah, I have no idea how the Iroquois know who Morocco is. I don't see any boats. I know there are a few people that have deep sea sailing, but I didn't know Morocco did. Any other wars that broke out? No. So far, not yet. Yeah, no, nothing just yet. Now we got Spain and Isabella making peace. I'm sorry, Spain and the Netherlands making peace, and obviously they were kind of cut off there with this Hunnic expansion. Gosh, they were so lucky with that move there. So lucky. Again, oh yeah, the Huns are going to declare war on Arabia very soon. Again, really, I mean, Europe, I know you guys want to be peaceful, and that's cool. You know, you guys are all friends. But if someone doesn't start to consolidate the power, it's not going to look too good. It is not going to look too good. You can almost instantly give it to somebody if they take over Amsterdam. But it's going to be tough to do so. Because William has a pretty good amount of army units, a pretty good military protecting its land. And again, when it's all compacted like this in Europe, usually if a civ just has enough units to kind of just take up these tiles, an AI can't navigate around it. So more than likely, that's going to be pretty safe, at least until artillery is discovered. Then you have to kind of worry about Germany and what Germany's going to do. And I don't know exactly what Germany's doing up this way. I have no idea. Oh, I guess they're probably resupplying Munich, but where do you attack after Munich? Are you going to go attack Orleans? Now that would be that'd be an interesting scenario to play out. I'm probably going to remove this spy from the Huns. He pretty much plots against everybody. Babylon's doing pretty good, but the Middle East hasn't broken out into a significant war just yet. It's remained pretty quiet. Sweden has some forces coming over this way, but I don't know why. That might be for Mongolia, actually. Look at all these wasted units. If Sweden decided to take out Denmark with this army, they could control all of Scandinavia instead of going over this way to attack Mongolia. I don't know if it's for Mongolia or not. Polynesia has actually begun their attack on Mongolia. Now, that is not going to go very well for him, but, you know, I give him props for even trying that. You got to give Polynesia props for trying that. I'm surprised that Polynesia hasn't ended up more expansive. He has been pretty focused, pretty tall, surprisingly enough. Now, I'm wondering if Persia is going to declare war on India, because India has a lot of their units lost up in these mountains up here in the Himalayas. Well, I mean, I know that they have Vijayanagar up here. That's not Vijayanagar, I don't think. That's not from EU4, but I'm looking at it and it looks very similar. It does look very similar, I think. I know that's not, though. I know. So it looks like William is building up an army with naval escorts for a sneak attack against another civ. Now, who is this? You don't have any navy. You don't have any sort of navy whatsoever. So who are you trying to sneak attack against? It's got to be either... Well, I don't know. Honestly, it could be multiple civs. It could be Denmark. It could be Sweden. It could be England. It could be France. But that's about it. That's probably the most. There's no way, or maybe I guess the Celts. But William has stayed pretty peaceful, and I don't think I really believe that notification. I would be surprised if that notification is actually telling the truth, or if it's not. I don't know. I'd be extremely surprised if that was the case. Oh man, the Zulu are moving in towards territory here, and look at that! Look at that! The Netherlands were given this city by Spain. Wow! I wish there was this gave some sort of notification when that happened. When that happens, stuff like that. So this is... I don't know how this is going to play out. Now the Netherlands control a city, a colony, out here in Western Africa, right next to the Zulu, of all people. I really wish it gave me notifications when, so that's the second time Spain has done that. And this time it was for another very powerful civ, in William. Wow, now what else is Spain going to give away, really? Oh, the Zulu have taken it over. Oh, but was it because of a peace deal? It was. It was because of a peace deal. Askia gave the Zulu a city. I mean, that was probably the smartest choice Askia could have ever thought of, because honestly, I mean, he was going to get wrecked. His empire was going to get wrecked by these MPs. There's no doubt in my mind Timbuktu was going to drop probably in a turn or two from now, and then they were going to go after their next city. But anyways, guys, I'm going to have to stop right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.